I was adjusting Daniel Mitchell's IV line when his wife walked into room 347. I hadn't seen Rebecca Mitchell in 2 months, not since the day Daniel was admitted to St. Luke's Medical Center with what we thought was severe pneumonia. 2 months, 61 days. And now, suddenly, here was Rebecca, walking in like she'd been there every day. "Danny! Oh my God! Danny!" Daniel's eyes opened, confused at first, then recognition, then something else. Terror. Pure, absolute terror. "Becca, how did you—" "Your mother called me. She said you were dying. Why didn't you call me?" Because he couldn't, I thought. Because there was already someone else here. Someone who'd been here every single day for 61 days. Someone who was walking down the hallway right now with 2 coffees. Someone who was about to walk through that door in exactly 30 seconds. "Becca, you need to leave. Please." "I can explain everything, but not here, not now." "Explain what? That you've been in the hospital for 2 months and didn't tell your wife?" And then the door opened. A woman walked in, 32 years old, blonde, pregnant, very pregnant, carrying 2 coffees. She froze when she saw Rebecca. Rebecca froze when she saw her. Daniel closed his eyes, and I realized I was about to witness something that would destroy 3 lives forever. I've been a nurse for 40 years. And I've seen secrets destroy families, but I've never seen one quite like this. Have you ever discovered a truth that shattered everything you believed about someone you loved? Share your story in the comments. And if you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss what happens next in Daniel's story. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's not what you think. It all started 10 weeks earlier, September 18th, 2019, Wednesday afternoon, 4:23 p.m. I was working the pulmonary unit at St. Luke's Medical Center in Atlanta when they admitted Daniel Robert Mitchell, 41 years old, severe bilateral pneumonia with sepsis, oxygen saturation at 84%, temperature of 103.7 degrees Fahrenheit, respiratory rate of 32 breaths per minute, heart rate of 118 beats per minute, critically ill. He came up from the emergency room on a gurney, struggling to breathe, each breath a visible effort, skin pale and clammy, lips tinged with blue. The kind of blue that tells you someone's body is running out of oxygen. A woman was with him during admission, young, maybe early 30s, blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing yoga pants and an oversized Georgia Tech sweatshirt, no makeup, eyes red and swollen from crying, pregnant, visibly pregnant, maybe 7 months along. She was holding his hand like she'd never let go. "Please," she said to me, voice breaking. "Please save him, please." "I can't. We can't. The baby?" She couldn't finish. Just stood there shaking, one hand on Daniel's arm, the other protectively cradling her belly. "What's your name?" I asked gently while starting his oxygen. Melissa Hart. She stopped, looked at Daniel. He squeezed her hand weakly, tried to speak but couldn't. The oxygen mask covered his face now. His eyes were struggling to stay open. "She's my partner," he managed to say between gasps. "My girlfriend. Girlfriend. Not wife." I noted it, but said nothing. After 40 years, you learn that people's relationships are complex. That judgment helps no one. That my job is to heal bodies, not interrogate hearts. But I did notice she wasn't wearing a ring. And I noticed the panic in her eyes wasn't just about his illness. It was about something else, something deeper, something unspoken. "Okay," I said. "Melissa, we're going to take good care of him, but I need you to step outside while we get him stabilized. The waiting room is down the hall to the left. I'll come find you as soon as he's settled." She nodded, kissed his forehead, whispered something I couldn't hear, then left. Left him alone with me and the respiratory therapist and the attending physician who was already barking orders about antibiotics and chest x-rays and arterial blood gases. Daniel Mitchell was dying. His lungs were drowning, filled with fluid and infection. His body was shutting down, fighting a battle it might not win. We worked fast, IV lines, blood draws, medications, oxygen increased to 100%, monitors connected, alarms set. By 5:47 p.m. he was stable enough to breathe. Barely, but stable. Over the next 3 days, while Daniel fought for his life, I learned about Melissa Hart, 29 years old, interior designer, owned her own small firm in Buckhead, specialized in sustainable residential spaces, smart, talented, successful for her age. She never left his side. Day 1. She was there when I started my shift at 7 a.m. Had been there all night, the night shift nurse told me. Slept in the chair, barely slept really, just watched him breathe. Day 2. She was still there, changed clothes at some point, brought her laptop, tried to work, mostly just sat, watching, waiting, praying maybe. Day 3. Still there. Dark circles under her eyes now, moving slower, the pregnancy making everything harder. She was 7 months along, she told me. Due in early December. A girl. They were naming her Emma. We found out 3 months ago, she said, while I was checking Daniel's vitals. He cried. Happy tears. He said he'd always wanted a daughter. She touched her belly absently. An unconscious gesture I'd seen 1,000 times. The way pregnant women do. Protective, loving, connected to the life growing inside. We've been together 2 years, she continued, talking more to fill the silence than anything else. Met at a conference in Chicago, Architecture and Interior Design Symposium. I was presenting a paper on sustainable materials in residential construction. He was in the audience. She smiled at the memory. After my presentation, he came up to me, said it was the most interesting talk he'd heard all weekend, asked if I wanted to get coffee. And you said yes. I said yes. We talked for 4 hours, about buildings and sustainability and design philosophy and everything. It was like we'd known each other forever. Daniel was sleeping. The antibiotics were working, but slowly. His fever had come down from 103 to 101. His oxygen saturation was improving, 88%, then 91%, then 93%. Progress, slow progress, but progress. He's the kindest man I've ever known, Melissa said quietly. Patient, thoughtful. He listens, really listens. Not just waiting for his turn to talk, you know? I nodded. When I told him I was pregnant, he held me. For a long time. Then he said, "We're going to do this. Together. We're going to be amazing parents." Her eyes filled with tears. I can't lose him, Sharon. I can't. Emma needs her father. I need him. I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I've seen love before. Real love, deep love, the kind that transcends circumstances and challenges. This felt like that. Genuine, raw, real. But something about it didn't add up. The way she said, "We've been together 2 years." The way she looked at him when she thought no one was watching. Like she was afraid, not just of losing him to the pneumonia, of something else. On day 4, Daniel's mother visited, Patricia Ann Mitchell, 68 years old. Silver hair styled in a perfect bob, expensive Talbot's pantsuit, Hermes scarf, diamond earrings, the kind of woman who'd never been seen in public without makeup. Old Atlanta money. She walked into room 347 at 10:17 a.m. like she owned not just the room, but the entire hospital. Looked at Melissa with barely concealed disgust. "You," she said, voice cold as ice. "Out." Melissa stood up slowly, 7 months pregnant and exhausted. "Mrs. Mitchell, I said out. I need to speak with my son privately. This is a family matter." "I am family." "No, you're not. You're a mistake, a distraction. Now leave before I have security remove you." I was about to intervene when Daniel's eyes opened. "Mom," he said weakly, voice muffled by the oxygen mask. "Don't." "Don't what? Don't tell this woman the truth? Don't protect what's left of our family's reputation?" Patricia turned to Melissa, ice in her eyes. "My son is married, has been for 15 years, to Rebecca, his wife, Rebecca Mitchell. Did he forget to mention that? The room went silent. Completely silent. Melissa's face went white. What? You heard me. Daniel is married. Legally married, to a woman who is currently in Paris on a 3-month photography assignment for National Geographic. Patricia looked at me. Nurse, I assume you were aware of this? Ma'am, I don't involve myself in— His wife is Rebecca Ann Mitchell, née Caldwell. They married on June 12, 2004. 15 years, no children. She's a photographer, award-winning, international assignments, currently in Paris documenting climate change impacts on European architecture. She turned back to Melissa with cold, calculating eyes. She's been gone for 2 months. That's when my son decided to play house with you. Melissa was shaking now, visibly shaking. Daniel, is this true? Daniel's eyes were closed. His heart rate monitor was climbing. 98, 105, 112, 118. Daniel, answer me, is this true? Silence. Heavy, horrible silence. Then, yes, he whispered. Yes, it's true. Patricia gathered her Chanel purse, adjusted her scarf. I've called Rebecca. Told her about your condition. She's cutting her assignment short. She'll be here in 3 days. November 28th, 8 p.m. flight from Paris. She looked at Melissa one last time. I suggest you make yourself scarce before she arrives, unless you want to explain to my daughter-in-law why you're carrying her husband's child. Patricia walked out, heels clicking on the linoleum floor, leaving Melissa standing there, 7 months pregnant, with a man who'd lied to her about everything. Over the next hour, I watched something break inside Melissa's heart. She didn't leave. She should have. But she didn't. She sat down in the chair by Daniel's bed, slowly, carefully, one hand supporting her lower back, the other on her belly, and waited, just waited, for him to wake up fully. The silence in that room was the heaviest I'd felt in years. When Daniel finally woke up, around 2:34 p.m., his eyes found hers immediately. She didn't say anything at first, just looked at him, studied him, like she was seeing him for the first time. Finally, quietly, she said, "Tell me everything." And he tried. God, he tried. Rebecca and we've been having problems for years. She's always traveling, always gone. 6 months here, 3 months there. We've been more like roommates than spouses for the last 5 years. But you're still married. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Silence. Daniel, why didn't you tell me you were married? Because I was going to divorce her. I was planning to tell her when she got back from Paris, before you found out you were pregnant. But you didn't. She extended her assignment. 3 months became 9 months. And then you got pregnant, and I didn't know how to— How to what? Tell me the truth? You've had 2 years, Daniel. 2 years to mention you had a wife. I know, I'm sorry. Are you still sleeping with her? More silence. Daniel, answer me. Are you still sleeping with your wife? Not since I met you. I don't believe you. It's the truth. But his heart rate monitor said otherwise. Climbing. 115, 118, 122. I've been a nurse for 40 years. I've seen this pattern before. The physiological response to lying, the body betraying what the mouth won't say. Blood pressure rising, heart rate accelerating, respiratory rate increasing, stress responses, deception responses. Melissa saw it too. She'd been watching those monitors for 4 days. She knew what they meant. You're lying, she said quietly. The monitors don't lie, but you do. She stood up, gathered her purse, her laptop bag, the blanket she'd been using. I'm going to my hotel. I need to think. Melissa, please. 3 days, you said, until your wife gets here? Yes. Then I have 3 days to decide if I'm going to stay. If I'm going to raise this baby with a man who's been lying to me since the day we met. She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. One question. When Rebecca left for Paris, did she know about me? Silence. Did your wife know you had a girlfriend when she left for Paris? No. So you were sleeping with both of us. For how long? Melissa. How long, Daniel? Since we met. Since Chicago. Melissa's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God. I was going to tell her, you were sleeping with your wife while dating me. For 2 years. And you got me pregnant, while still married to her. Yes. Oh my God. She walked out. Left Daniel alone with his lies, and me with my observations. Something about this still didn't add up. If Rebecca had been gone for 2 months, and Melissa was 7 months pregnant, that meant Melissa got pregnant 5 months ago, which was 3 months before Rebecca left for Paris, which meant Daniel had been with both of them simultaneously for the entire 2 years. But there was more. I could feel it. Something worse. Something neither of them was saying. Day 5. Melissa didn't come back. Day 6. Still no Melissa. Daniel asked about her constantly. Has she called? Has she come by? Did she leave a message? No. By day 7, he was improving medically but deteriorating emotionally. The pneumonia was responding to antibiotics. His oxygen saturation was up to 96% on just 2 liters. His fever was gone. His lungs were clearing, but his spirit was broken. I've destroyed everything, he said to me on the morning of day 7 while I was changing his IV bag. You made choices, I said neutrally. Bad choices. Choices nonetheless. He was quiet for a long time. Then, can I tell you something? Something I haven't told anyone? That's up to you. I need to tell someone, before Rebecca gets here, before everything falls apart completely. I sat down. After 40 years, I've learned that when someone needs to confess, you listen. Rebecca and I met in college, he began. Emory University. I was studying architecture. She was studying photography. We were 22, young, stupid, in love. He paused, took a breath. We got married young, too young, 23, right after graduation. Both of us with big dreams, big plans. What happened? We grew up, grew apart. She wanted to travel the world, document everything, win awards, be famous. I wanted to build things, stay in one place, create a home. Different visions. Completely different. By year 5, we were arguing constantly. By year 10, we were barely speaking. By year 15, he trailed off. By year 15? By year 15, we were strangers who happened to share a house. He looked at me. I haven't loved Rebecca in years, Sharon. Years. But I stayed because divorce is expensive, because our assets are complicated, because my firm is worth millions and she'd get half. There it was. The truth. Not love. Money. So you met Melissa. So I met Melissa, and she was everything Rebecca wasn't. Present, interested, excited about life, about me, about us. But you didn't tell her about Rebecca. No. Why? Because I knew she'd leave, because I knew she'd never stay with a married man, because I was selfish and I wanted her anyway. Something didn't add up. Daniel, if you wanted Melissa so badly, why didn't you just divorce Rebecca before getting serious? He looked away. Because of the prenup. The prenup? Rebecca's family has money. Old Atlanta money. When we got married, her father insisted on a prenuptial agreement. If we divorce for any reason other than abuse or abandonment, assets split 50-50. And I built my firm from nothing. It's worth $12 million now. If we divorce, she gets $6 million. For doing nothing, for being absent, for abandoning our marriage to chase her career. But if she divorces you for adultery, then she can argue alienation of affection, emotional distress, get more, maybe 60%, maybe 70%. I understood now. So you needed to divorce her before she found out about Melissa? Yes. But then Melissa got pregnant. Yes. And that complicated everything. Yes. He started crying, actual tears running down his face. I thought I could manage it, keep them separate, divorce Rebecca quietly, marry Melissa, everyone happy. Except everyone's not happy. No. Because you lied to everyone. Yes. I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I've learned something important about lies. They're like pneumonia. They start small, a tiny infection, barely noticeable, but they grow, spread, fill your lungs until you can't breathe, until they destroy you from the inside out. Rebecca arrives tomorrow, I said quietly. What are you going to do? I don't know. You need to figure it out, fast. I know. But I could tell he had no idea. No idea how to fix what he'd broken, no idea how to save himself, and I realized maybe some things can't be saved. Maybe some lies are too big to survive. Day 8, 8:47 a.m. I was starting my shift when I saw them in the hallway. Daniel, in a wheelchair, oxygen tank attached, still weak but improving. And Melissa. She'd come back. They were headed toward the hospital chapel. We're getting married, Melissa said when she saw me. My heart stopped. What? Daniel proposed last night. We don't want to wait anymore. Melissa, are you sure? I know it's fast. I know it's complicated, but the baby's coming in 2 months, and Daniel's divorcing Rebecca. His lawyer's filing papers today. Everything's finally happening. I looked at Daniel. He wouldn't meet my eyes. We love each other, Melissa continued. That's what matters. The baby deserves married parents, a family. Daniel made mistakes, but he's fixing them. Right, Daniel? Right, he said quietly. His lawyer is Sarah Chen. She's filing for divorce this morning. Irreconcilable differences, 50-50 split. By the time Rebecca lands tonight, it'll be done. My blood ran cold. This wasn't about love. This was about strategy. Daniel was marrying Melissa before Rebecca could find out about her. To protect his assets. To lock Melissa in. To control the narrative. Melissa, I said carefully, maybe you should wait. Talk to your own lawyer. Make sure what? That he really loves me? I'm 7 months pregnant, Sharon. The time for making sure has passed. She smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. She was doing this because she felt trapped, not because she wanted to. The chaplain's waiting, Daniel said. We should go. They disappeared around the corner, toward the chapel, toward a marriage built on lies and desperation, and I couldn't stop them, because I had no proof, just observations. Just 40 years of instinct screaming that this was wrong. All wrong. At 9:15 a.m. they came back, married. Melissa was wearing the same clothes from that morning. Yoga pants, oversized sweatshirt, no makeup, hair in a messy bun. Not exactly the wedding she'd probably dreamed of as a little girl. Daniel was still in the wheelchair. Hospital gown, oxygen tank, pale and weak. They had a certificate, signed by the hospital chaplain, legal, binding. We did it, Melissa said, showing me the paper with a smile that looked more like a grimace. We're married now. Congratulations, I said, but the word felt hollow. Thank you for everything, for taking care of him, for being here. I wanted to scream, wanted to tell her what I'd heard days ago, but I couldn't. Medical ethics, patient privacy, professional boundaries. I could only watch and wait. Because Rebecca Mitchell was landing in 9 hours. And she had no idea her husband had just married someone else, while still married to her. The rest of day 8 passed in slow motion. Daniel was moved from the pulmonary unit to a regular medical floor. His pneumonia was resolved enough. He'd be discharged in a few days. Melissa stayed with him, playing the role of dutiful new wife. But I saw the fear in her eyes. She knew something was coming. Something bad. At 6 p.m., I finished my shift. But I didn't leave. Something told me to stay. To witness what was about to happen. At 7:45 p.m., I was in the nurse's break room when I heard the commotion. Voices in the hallway. Loud voices. A woman's voice. Angry. Demanding. "Daniel Mitchell, where is he? Which room?" "Ma'am, visiting hours are—" "I'm his wife. Where is he?" I stepped into the hallway. Saw her. Rebecca Mitchell. 43 years old. Stunning. 5'9", athletic build from years of hiking with heavy camera equipment, dark brown hair cut in a sharp, angular bob. High cheekbones, piercing green eyes, wearing black jeans, a leather jacket, and expensive boots, camera bag over her shoulder. She looked exhausted from the transatlantic flight, but her eyes were sharp, alert, dangerous. "Sharon Williams," I said, stepping forward. "I'm Daniel's nurse. He's in room 512. "Thank you." She headed toward the elevator. I followed at a distance. Professional concern, I told myself. But really, I needed to see how this would end. At 7:58 p.m., Rebecca Mitchell pushed open the door to room 512 and saw her husband, in bed, holding hands with a pregnant blonde woman, his new wife. The silence that followed was absolute. Rebecca stood in the doorway, staring, processing, her brain trying to make sense of what her eyes were seeing. Melissa sat up in the chair, confused. Daniel went pale, paler than he'd been when he was dying from pneumonia. "Becca, who is this?" Rebecca's voice was calm, too calm. The kind of calm that comes before a hurricane. The stillness before devastation. "This is Melissa. I can explain..." "Explain what?" "Who she is. Why she's pregnant. Why she's in your hospital room holding your hand." "All of it. I was going to tell you." "When? When were you going to tell me, Daniel?" "Tonight. Tomorrow. As soon as you got back." "I'm back now." She walked into the room. Slow. Controlled. Predatory. Every step deliberate. "How long?" "How long what?" "Don't play stupid." "How long have you been fucking her?" Melissa gasped. "Excuse me?" Rebecca turned to her, really looked at her for the first time. "You. How long?" 2 years, Melissa said quietly. "We've been together for 2 years." Rebecca's face didn't change, but her hands did. They started shaking. 2 years. Yes. And you're pregnant. 7 months. Congratulations. The word dripped with venom, sarcasm so thick you could taste it. Rebecca turned back to Daniel. "You told me you were faithful. Every time I called from Paris, every time I video chatted, every time I asked if everything was okay, you said yes. I'm sorry." "Sorry? You're sorry?" Her voice was rising now, the hurricane making landfall. "I spent 2 months in Paris working 80-hour weeks, documenting historic architecture, building my career, supporting our life, and you were here fucking someone else?" "Becca, please, don't you dare tell me to calm down." She looked at Melissa, really looked at her, taking in the pregnancy, the exhaustion, the fear. "Did he tell you we were separated? He said you were having problems." "That's not what I asked. Did he tell you we were separated, legally separated, with divorce papers filed?" "No, but he said..." "He lied. We weren't separated. We were married, happily married. Or at least I thought we were." Rebecca pulled out her phone, scrolled, showed Melissa a photo. "This is from August 10th, 2 weeks before I left for Paris. Anniversary dinner, 15 years. Look how happy we are." Melissa looked. Her face went white. In the photo, Daniel and Rebecca, at a fancy restaurant, candles, wine, smiling, intimate, his arm around her, her head on his shoulder, clearly in love, or at least looking like it. "That was 2.5 months ago," Rebecca said, "which means you were already pregnant, which means he was sleeping with both of us, at the same time." "No. Yes." Rebecca looked at me, standing in the doorway, witnessing the destruction. How long has he been here? 8 weeks, I said quietly. And she's been here the whole time? Every day. Every single day? Every single day. Rebecca laughed, a horrible broken sound, like glass shattering. Of course she has. Playing the devoted girlfriend while his wife is on another continent. She turned back to Daniel. I want a divorce. Becca, I want the house, the firm, everything. You don't get to cheat on me for 2 years and keep anything. You can't. I can, and I will. My family has money. My attorneys are vicious, and I have 15 years of marriage to back me up. She pulled out her phone again, made a call. Dad, it's me. I need the name of that divorce attorney, the one who handled the Perkins case, the ruthless one who got the wife 70%. Yes, I'll hold. She looked at Melissa while waiting. You can have him. Enjoy your prize. Melissa was crying now, silently, tears streaming down her face, one hand on her belly, protecting Emma from all of this. Rebecca's call connected. Yes, hi. James Caldwell's daughter. I need to retain your services immediately. My husband has been having an affair. Got the mistress pregnant. I want everything. No, I'm at the hospital now. St. Luke's. I can be at your office first thing tomorrow morning. Perfect, thank you. She hung up, looked at Daniel one last time. 15 years. 15 years, Daniel. We built a life together, a business, a home. And you threw it away for what? For her? For a baby? You didn't mean to? You accidentally slept with her for 2 years? You accidentally got her pregnant? You accidentally destroyed our marriage? I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't give me back 15 years. Sorry doesn't undo the humiliation, the betrayal. She walked to the door, stopped. I hope she was worth it. I hope your daughter was worth losing everything. She looked at Melissa. And I hope you understand what kind of man you married, because if he did this to me, he'll do it to you too. Cheaters always cheat again. It's who they are. She walked out, heels clicking down the hallway. Final, absolute, gone. The silence after Rebecca left was devastating. Melissa sat in the chair, stunned, processing everything she'd just heard, everything she'd just witnessed. Daniel was crying, actual tears. Melissa. Married, she whispered. You married me, while still married to her. The chaplain thought, you lied to the chaplain. You said you were single. I saw the application. I signed it. You checked the never married box. I was going to fix it. How? How are you going to fix this, Daniel? Our marriage isn't legal. You committed bigamy. That's a felony. I didn't think. No, you didn't think. You never think about anyone but yourself. She stood up, slowly, heavily. 7.5 months pregnant and exhausted. I'm leaving. Melissa, please. No, I'm done. I'm done being lied to. I'm done being manipulated. I'm done being your second choice while you figured out how to protect your precious money. How did you? Your mother came to see me this afternoon while you were sleeping, told me everything about the prenup, about your plan to divorce Rebecca before she found out about me, about how you married me to lock me in, to make sure I wouldn't leave before you could secure your assets. Daniel's face went white. She told you? She told me everything. About how you consulted with Sarah Chen 8 months ago. About how you planned this whole thing. About how I was never the love of your life. Just a convenient excuse to divorce your wife without losing money. That's not true. Then why did your lawyer file divorce papers this morning citing my pregnancy as proof of your irreconcilable differences with Rebecca? Proof that the marriage had been dead for years? Silence. You used me, Daniel. You used my pregnancy, my love, my trust to save yourself money. No. Yes. Melissa grabbed her purse, her laptop bag, the blanket. I'm filing for annulment. The marriage was based on fraud. You lied about your marital status. It's void. The baby will be fine. Without you. She turned to leave, stopped, looked back. You told me you loved me, that we were building a life together, that I was the only one. You were. Don't lie anymore. I'm done. She put a hand on her belly. Your mother was right about one thing. This baby deserves better. Melissa. Goodbye, Daniel. She walked out, leaving Daniel alone, with his lies, his destroyed marriages, his ruined life, and his absolute emptiness. Day 9. Daniel was alone. Melissa didn't come back. Rebecca didn't come back. His mother didn't come back. Just me. The nurses. The doctors. Doing our jobs, keeping him alive. Even though I wasn't sure he wanted to be alive anymore. I've destroyed everything, he said to me that morning while I was checking his vitals. Yes, I said. You have. Sometimes honesty is the only kindness left. What do I do now? That's not for me to say. I need advice. I'm a nurse, not a therapist, not a life coach, not a miracle worker. He was quiet for a long time. I never meant to hurt anyone. But you did. I know. Intentions don't matter. Actions do. Consequences do. I was trying to protect myself. By destroying 2 women who loved you? I loved them both. No. You loved yourself. You loved your money. You loved your comfort. You didn't love them. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't manipulate. Love doesn't use people as pawns. He started crying again. I've been a nurse for 40 years. And I've learned that some people cry because they're sorry for what they did. And some people cry because they're sorry they got caught. Daniel Mitchell was crying because he got caught. Not because he understood the pain he'd caused. Not because he truly grasped the devastation. But because his plan failed. And now he had nothing. Day 10 through day 12 passed in a blur. Rebecca retained the best divorce attorney in Atlanta. Filed for divorce. Cited adultery, fraud, and emotional distress. Demanded 65% of all marital assets. Froze joint bank accounts. Put a lien on the architectural firm. Moved for full ownership based on Daniel's infidelity and deceit. Melissa filed for annulment. Based on marriage fraud. The union was void. Never legal. She also filed for full custody of Emma. Requested Daniel have no parental rights until he completed court-ordered therapy and proved fitness as a father. Daniel's lawyer, Sarah Chen, tried to fight back. But there was nothing to fight with. The evidence was overwhelming. The timeline clear. The lies documented. Daniel had destroyed himself. On day 13, I was finishing my shift when I saw Patricia Mitchell in the hallway. She looked older than when I'd first seen her. Tired, defeated. "May I speak with you?" she asked. Of course. We went to the family consultation room. Empty, private. She sat down heavily. "This is my fault," she said. "How?" "I raised him to value money over everything else, to protect assets, to see marriage as a business transaction, to calculate costs and benefits." She looked at me. "His father was the same way, cold, calculating. Divorced me when Daniel was 12, took everything he could, left me fighting for scraps. I'm sorry. I taught Daniel to never let that happen to him, to always protect himself financially, to never trust anyone completely, to always have an exit strategy." She started crying. "I created him, this monster who destroys women for money. He made his own choices. But I taught him how." We sat in silence for a moment. Then, "Rebecca will take everything. She should. She deserves it. And Melissa, poor Melissa. 7 months pregnant with a man who never loved her. She's strong. She'll survive." "Will she?" "Yes. Women always do. We survive what destroys men." Patricia nodded slowly. "I came to tell you something. Something Daniel doesn't know yet." "What?" "Rebecca isn't just taking the business. She's exposing him. She gave an interview to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution about infidelity and high-profile marriages, about men who use prenups as weapons, about protecting women from financial abuse. Good. The story runs tomorrow, with Daniel's name, his firm's name, everything. How did he react? He doesn't know yet. I'm telling you first, because you've witnessed all of this, and because I think you understand what needs to happen next. What's that? He needs to lose everything, completely. He needs to understand what his lies cost, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, completely. I agree. Will you tell him about the article? No, he'll find out tomorrow like everyone else. Thank you for your honesty, for your care, for bearing witness to this disaster. She stood. I won't be visiting him again. I can't watch him destroy himself anymore. She walked out, leaving me alone with my thoughts, and with the truth that some families are broken beyond repair, that some sins can't be forgiven, that some men lose everything because they deserve to lose everything. Day 14. The article ran, front page of the living section. When love becomes a business transaction. One woman's story of betrayal. Rebecca had been interviewed extensively, told her whole story, with Daniel's name, his firm's name, photos, everything. By 10 a.m., the story had gone viral. Social media exploded. Atlanta's architecture community was in shock. Clients started canceling contracts. Partners started distancing themselves. The firm's reputation was destroyed. Daniel's career was over. At 11:23 a.m., his phone started ringing. And ringing, and ringing. Reporters, clients, former colleagues, everyone. He didn't answer, just lay in his hospital bed, watching his entire life implode in real time. I'm ruined, he said to me when I came to check on him. Yes. Everything I built, gone. Yes. What do I do? Start over. Somewhere else. As someone else. How? That's for you to figure out. I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I've learned something important. Some people fall and get back up. Some people fall and never recover. Daniel Mitchell would never recover. Not from this. On day 15, he was discharged, medically stable, emotionally destroyed. He had nowhere to go. Rebecca had changed the locks on their house, moved his belongings to a storage unit, filed a restraining order. Melissa wouldn't take his calls. His mother wouldn't see him. He went to a motel, the Red Roof Inn off I-285, $47 a night. All he could afford now that his accounts were frozen. Alone. Broke. Destroyed. I heard later that he tried to contact Melissa. Letters, emails, texts, all ignored. Tried to contact Rebecca, same. Tried to contact his mother. Nothing. He'd burned every bridge. Destroyed every relationship, lost everything he'd tried so desperately to protect. 3 weeks after he was discharged, I got a call. Sarah Chen, his lawyer. I thought you should know. Daniel was arrested. For what? Marriage fraud, bigamy, financial fraud. The DA's office built a case. He's facing 18 months to 3 years. What will he get? Probably 18 months with good behavior. He'll plead guilty. No trial, just consequences. Good. Is that cruel? To feel good about someone going to prison? No, it's justice. What about Melissa and the baby? Melissa's doing well. She moved back home to Savannah, near her family. They're supporting her. She's due in 3 weeks. And Rebecca? Rebecca got 70% of everything. The house, most of the firm, the retirement accounts, everything. She's buying out Daniel's former partners, renaming the company, starting fresh. Good. Sarah was quiet for a moment. You know what's interesting? The whole time I represented him, I thought he was a victim. Poor guy with a traveling wife. Poor guy who fell in love with someone else. I thought I was helping him. But I was helping him destroy 2 innocent women. I was complicit. Yes. I've dropped him as a client, referred him to a public defender. I can't be part of this anymore. That's good. That's growth. Is it enough? It's a start. 6 months later, I got an email. From Melissa. Subject: Thank you. Dear Sharon, I wanted to let you know I had a healthy baby girl on December 8th, 8 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect in every way. I named her Emma Grace. Grace, because that's what I needed to find. Grace for myself, for trusting the wrong person, for believing lies, for thinking love could conquer all. It can't. Daniel tried to contact me from prison. Yes, he went to prison. 18 months for marriage fraud and financial crimes. I didn't respond. Emma and I are building a life together, just the two of us. My family is helping, my parents, my sister. We're all in Savannah now. I'm working again, designing beautiful spaces for good people, making a living, making a life. I think about those days in the hospital a lot, about how you watched everything unfold, how you couldn't say anything, but I could feel you trying to warn me. I wish I'd listened to my instincts, but I'm grateful for the lesson. Sometimes the truth is right there. Laying in a hospital bed, making promises he'll never keep, and we ignore it because we want to believe, because we're desperate to believe, because we think love will save us. But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you have to save yourself. Thank you for bearing witness, for treating me with dignity when my life fell apart, for being kind to a foolish woman who believed in happy endings. Melissa and Emma Grace Hart. I saved that email. Read it sometimes when I need reminding. We can't save people from their choices, but we can bear witness, and we can offer dignity when everything else falls apart. Rebecca kept the firm, renamed it. Mitchell and Associates became Rebecca Caldwell Architecture. She's thriving, building sustainable communities, winning awards, speaking at conferences about women in architecture, about fighting back against financial manipulation, about rebuilding after betrayal, living her best life. Melissa is raising Emma in Savannah, teaching her daughter about strength, about independence, about building a life that doesn't depend on lies, about choosing yourself when everyone else fails you. And Daniel? He served 14 months, got out early for good behavior, lost his architecture license, lost his reputation, lost everything, works construction now in Macon, lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, drives a 2003 Toyota Camry with 180,000 miles, has supervised visitation with Emma twice a month, 2 hours each time. Melissa's mother sits in the room the entire time, making sure he doesn't manipulate or lie or hurt anyone else. Lost everything, the firm, the house, his career, his reputation, both women, his daughter, everything. I saw him once, about a year ago, at a coffee shop near the hospital. He looked older, tired, defeated, hollow. He saw me, looked away immediately, ashamed, as he should be. I've been a nurse for 40 years. I've seen a lot of infidelity, a lot of lies, a lot of people trying to have everything while giving nothing. And I've learned something important. You can try to explain. You can try to justify. You can try to spin the story in your favor. You can hire lawyers and consultants and strategists. You can make plans and backup plans and contingency plans. But the truth has a way of showing itself. Sometimes the truth is laying right there in the hospital bed, making promises to 2 women, building castles out of lies, thinking he's clever enough to keep all the balls in the air until they all come crashing down. Because here's what Daniel Mitchell never understood. You can't outrun the truth. You can't manipulate your way out of consequences. You can't use people as tools and expect them not to break. Love built on lies isn't love at all. It's just control, and control eventually breaks, taking everything with it. If you're listening to this story and you're keeping secrets from someone you claim to love, hear me clearly. The truth will find you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, But eventually, the walls will close in. The lies will collapse. And you'll lose everything you were trying so hard to protect. Because some losses are permanent. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Some trust can't be restored. Tell the truth while you still can, before someone else has to do it for you. Before you lose everything that matters. Before you end up alone in a one-bedroom apartment in Macon, Georgia, wondering how you destroyed your entire life. Don't be Daniel Mitchell. Don't let lies become your legacy. Don't wait until the truth is laying in a hospital bed, exposing everything, destroying everyone. Choose honesty. Choose integrity. Choose love that's real, not strategic. Because in the end, when everything falls apart, when everyone walks away, when you're left with nothing but the consequences of your choices, the only thing that matters is whether you can look yourself in the mirror. And Daniel Mitchell will never be able to do that again.